Hello, beautiful ones. Happy April. It's taken me a while to get this April newsletter out to you because it has been quite the month. I know there's been a lot happening in the astrological weather, whether that's something that you follow or not. There's been some significant conjunctions. There've been the eclipse season, and today, as I record this, we're just at the very last day of the Aries season of that sign of the new calendar year. So we're going to be shifting into a Taurus energy. And what do I have to share? Well, what I have to share is that life's felt a little bit on pause. I finished the stand-up series back on Easter long weekend, Easter Sunday, actually. We had the very final call for those that did the Sunday session. And it was beautiful, magical. I was incredibly enthused. I already had dates mapped out for the next stand-up series, excited to run it again because it was so beautiful. And next time wanting to offer it with 6 sessions, adding in a self-love, body love module, which actually I did a pre-recording for those who were in the last cohort. And then on the Monday, on the very next day, I heard the news that a friend of mine that I was very, very close to when I lived back in Sydney had died. And I have been in a very interesting grief window. And this is not reaching out for you to support me. My role in this relationship is very much about me supporting you. But I wanted to share a little bit about it just because it was very intense and revelationary for me. My emotions, my mental space, my physical body responded to the shock. And I won't go into all the details as to why I wasn't actually aware this friend was terminally ill. We weren't as close since I had moved away, but certainly hearing of her passing brought up the fact that I hadn't fully grieved leaving Sydney at all. And I hadn't fully grieved the loss of those close friendships when we first left. Because when we arrived, we had to get settled here. I had the children to hold. My husband had to get settled. We didn't have a secure and stable place to live to begin with. There was a lot. There's a lot to hold. And I guess I'm sharing that with you in case you have grief yet to process. If you have anger and rage, for me, it even brought up because the Sydney to London move was not entirely my decision. I would not have moved. And the kids didn't want to move. It was very much driven by my husband's desires from both his work perspective and also from his family are here. I'm sorry if you can hear the dog. I think there's a lot going on in the astrological weather today. And so, as well as the layers of grief, there was even more things that came up around anger, anger that I hadn't stood up for myself then and said, I don't want to move to London. Anger that how many times, if I reflect upon my whole life, have I not stood up for what I really wanted and really fought for it, like really fought for it. And like, I know I had this little niggling intuitive voice when we made this decision to come here that I had something to do here, that there was something else for me to experience here, that it was important for me to come back as much as it was painful. But I remember clearly saying to my husband, you can't be happy here in Australia. And I believe I can be happy anywhere. And to some extent that's true. But to some extent, I feel like I've been almost on this interesting spiritual journey of proving to myself that I can find contentment and peace within, no matter what the outer circumstances are. But I can almost see now how that was a response to not thinking what I wanted mattered. An old story around what I want doesn't matter. And so all of those things we're playing with in stand up. And I think to some extent, having done the stand up and held the space for it, we, and holding it for other people to have these awarenesses and awakenings and realizations. It was very conscious for me this time in the processes that my body was going through. And interestingly, not all of it with the mental thought forms that I could catch. There wasn't a story of, I wish we never left Sydney. It wasn't in stories. It was my body needing to have these different experiences and releases. And there's been a lot of anger coming out and a lot of grief and a lot of sadness. And so I just wanted to share that with you, with deep compassion and love for myself and what I've been going through, but for yourselves. And if your life has also been on pause, or if you've also been feeling like the depths, oh, that's right. I wanted to share that it even felt like I was touching into ancestral stuff, like how many generations of particularly the feminine collective conscious story, how many generations have not had the ability to have what they want. And we're kind of learning how to play with this ability to fight for what we love, fight for what we want. Now the dog's at the door. And this finding this inner warrior that is not just trying to be love and light anymore, but they're actually like, if this is what we want, if a world of peace is what we want, is there a way that we can take a stand and make our voices part of the noise, like make some noise for what we want? And I'm not calling out to people necessarily to be activists in this situation, but for us to look personally and see where are we or where are we not doing that for ourselves. And so with that, my whole business has taken a bit of a pause. So I have a couple of podcast episodes that I haven't got ready for you yet. And I have started recording a pre-record stand-up level 1 that people will be able to invest in. It will be a very affordable, low-priced package for you to try out and see how you find the practices and the techniques that are involved in that. And the dates for stand-up level 1's next cohort are not ready yet either. I'm going on a retreat next week with my beautiful mentor, Eos Koch, and it is a business-focused retreat. So I believe when I get back, I will have all of those things. There's enough space, there's enough time to be in all of that. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye for this month. Or I might come back at the end of April, might just get in time. And send you all so much love. So much love. So much love. And I will be back again soon when I have some more news. Have a beautiful month ahead. Talk to you soon.